Hi, my name is Nick Kennedy. I will be talking to you about Objective 5 and behavior management. Hopefully, by the end of this, I will be able to show you that I have learned a lot in behavior management in the classroom and different strategies and concepts to implement behavior management in the classroom. To start out, we'll start out with Module 4. In this module is the most important, in my opinion, strategy or concept in behavior management, which is social and emotional learning, or SEL. A website that is on that module is KSEL, which is Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. The link to that is ksel.org. In this website, it is very, very detailed on why it is important to use social and emotional learning in the classroom, what social and emotional learning is, how it is used in schools, different strategies to implement it in each subject that you teach. Also, there's things like bullying prevention with social and emotional learning, and success stories that other schools have shared that have used social and emotional learning. Also in this module is a TEDx video with speaker Trish Schaefer. She tells you why it is important to use social and emotional learning in the classroom, and she shares different stories about a troubled kid that is going through the social and emotional learning process, and how really at the end of it he's really learned a lot through his social and emotional needs. One amazing quote that I love that she said is, "It's obvious that we need to teach more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. We need to reach the whole child." And I really agree with that. In my opinion, their social and emotional needs is much more important than, if not, or is equally important with their knowledge in reading, writing, and arithmetic. You might not use all of what they learn with reading, writing, and arithmetic. They might not use it every day, but you'll always use your social and emotional knowledge in every day. The goal for social and emotional learning, obviously, is to manage your emotions and express them in positive ways rather than negative ways. And for example, that'd be like if I didn't agree with someone's idea, rather than saying that's a dumb idea, I would be like, I respect your idea, but here's my idea. And 5 keys to social and emotional learning behavior management is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationships, and decision-making. There is a very descriptive video that is called 5 Keys to Social and Emotional Learning that has all of this, and it goes into great detail about how to use this. And some of the things the video said is, for self-awareness, they need to figure out for themselves why they feel a certain way. So if they're mad, they need to figure out why they're mad, the reasons that they're mad. And some ways to help with this, you could have journals in class, and they can write down their emotions, and as they're writing down their emotions, hopefully they realize how they feel. Another one is talking circles, which you just have the whole class gather around in a circle and have them express their feelings and why they're feeling how they feel. The next is self-management. They need to come up with a way for themselves to regulate their emotions. So some different examples for that would be like a breathing exercise. Like if I get upset, I'll just take 3 deep breaths and let it out slowly. Or I will listen to music or so-and-so. You can count to 5 if you're getting upset. And it's different for everybody, and everybody should have their own self-management task. The next is social awareness, and you need to be aware of others' needs. And some ways that I thought that you could do this is maybe doing like charity events, and you recognize their needs, you recognize what they need and like supplies they need. For example, if there's some people in Africa that need supplies, food, toys, and etc., etc., Maybe you could get a shoebox exchange, what I've done in the past with a church group that I was a part of. And we stuffed this shoebox with a bunch of toys and a bunch of things that hopefully they enjoyed over there in Africa that were in need of those things. And then you could do other things about like raising money for charity events or special needs people and so on and so on. The next is relationships, which obviously you want to work well with others. And some things, some ways that you can teach your students to do this is to do projects together. Hopefully while they're doing projects together, they learn to work together, and it'll teach them, the relationship side of social and emotional learning. And the last one is decision making and thinking about consequences before they act. So hopefully the more and more they learn about social and emotional learning, they start coming up with better decisions rather than making negative decisions. So they'll start thinking about the consequences of their actions before they act them out. And some ways that you can improve on this is like one-to-one problem solving. So if I was the teacher, I'd have my students sitting beside me and I would give them a problem, and I would have that student figure out how to solve that for the better needs of everybody in that situation. And some other things, you could have the whole classroom debate a specific issue. Like Timmy is bullying, Sarah and her friend, and Timmy's friend, Kyle was watching all of it. What should Kyle do? And you could debate it out and everything, and hopefully they'll come up with the best possible decision for that situation. So moving on to Module 5. In this module is about the IRIS module. And in that little link or website, it has different situations and how you would come up with your own behavioral management plan. The link to that website is iris.peabody.vanderbilt.edu. The IRIS module is basically a 5-step module that includes statement of purpose, rules, procedures, consequences, both positive and negative, and an action plan, which I will go over in the next slide. Also in this module is a very, very interesting Edutopia, I'm not for sure how to pronounce that video, that is all about meditation. And it was a very, very interesting video that was on YouTube, where this middle school implemented meditation in their classrooms, where they would meditate for 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, and they would just think about whatever they wanted to think about and becoming aware of their own emotions. This town was a very high rate of crime town, and ever since they implemented this meditation, the statistics that they have are very mind-blowing, honestly, that actually back up this meditation system. For example, some of these statistics was that they cut the rate of truancy, or like skipping class and dropping out of school, and just unexcused absences. They actually cut that down by more than half of what it was before they started the meditation. And another statistic is the suspension rate, has dropped more than half of what the state's average actually is. I believe that specific state was 13%, and they actually dropped their suspension rate down to 6%. So just the statistics that they had that actually backed up this meditation is very, very interesting. So my quick version really of IRIS module behavior management plan is right here. This is something that should be thought out over a period of time, and probably thought out over your own experiences that you've had in the classroom. So obviously this is subject to change from your first year, versus your 7th year or so. So my statement of purpose would be our classroom will be a fun and safe place to learn. In our classroom, we will do our best. We will also respect and encourage others in hopes to bring out the best in them. Some simple rules, and obviously it's not limited to these rules, are, follow directions, raise your hands, keep your hands and feet to yourself, etc., etc. The procedures, you should have different procedures for the beginning and end of class. So for the beginning, you would have the students sit down, and find something to do. For example, like read a book, whatever book you're reading in that class, and for the end of the class, you would have everybody line up by the door, and wait for the bell to ring before they exit the class. They should also have procedures for the bathroom, procedures to get ready for lunch, procedures to get ready for recess, and actually coming back from recess. Some consequences, there should again be both positive and negative consequences. Some positive consequences that I kind of came up with and kind of had from experiences in my past are, like, obviously if someone does something good, you would give them words of encouragement like good job or way to go, keep it going. Some other things, I had this one teacher, his name was Mr. Brown, and he had brownie points, and these points were extra credit points. So you did something good in class and he would give you a brownie point that you could staple onto any worksheet or any test and for extra credit. So I thought that was pretty cool. I had this another teacher who actually gave out fake money, and she kept prizes by her desk. So every time you did something good, you would get, this fake money, and you would save it up for whatever prize she had behind her desk, which, they had like paddle ball and stuff like that. Some negative consequences. Your first one would be a warning. Your second one, you would tell them to see them after school, so you could talk about the problems and you can tell them how they can fix it and what they did wrong. The next one would be sent to a principal's office. The next would be contact a parent. And for my action plan, you want to develop a teacher's toolkit. You want to talk about the plan, obviously, with your students so they are aware of what your plan is. Also, I think it's very important to share the plan with the parents. And what I thought about is you could print out your whole behavior management plan on a piece of paper and have it sent home with the students, and they can bring it back with a signature saying that the parent read through it, and you could tell them that contact you by an email if they had questions or anything about the plan. And obviously you want to review that plan throughout the whole year. So for Module 6, it really goes back to the CASEL website, which is obviously that very informative website that I talked to you about in Module 4. It also has a positive behavior intervention and supports website, which is a very, very informative website, which is a research-based website about different strategies to effectively teach appropriate behavior in the classroom. And in this website, they have different tabs on how you can teach this with primary level and secondary grade level. Also, they have tabs for to prevent bullying and so on. So in conclusion, I have learned many strategies on behavioral management in this class. A lot of new concepts and information was taught to me throughout this class. I look forward to researching these concepts more in depth and maybe even using these strategies in the future. And I really believe in this. I can't really think of a module, for example, without wondering how I can implement social and emotional learning with that math concept. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I showed you that I'm very knowledgeable now in behavior management. I've learned quite a lot in this class with behavior management. And thank you for watching this video.